Welcome to How Good Is. Today we're going to talk about how good is the rollerblader girl and, the one with the weird likings of certain body parts. Let's just move past that. Let's actually talk about her from a gameplay perspective. We all know that she's kind of weird and that she's kind of, but as a gameplay character, she is actually very similar to Tanabata Yachiyo, and I know at least one person is already triggered by that. The main reason I bring this up is she's a water type who is attack with 3 charge discs, who doesn't have any charge conservation except on double to self for 2 turns. That is basically Tanabata Yachiyo. So the basis is that is why I compared that. However, there are still very big differences between these two characters. But I can already tell you right now as a TLDR, unless you're a whale, if you already have Tanabata Yachiyo, there's basically no reason for you to pick up Miyuri. Anyway, let's get into the nitty-gritty. So you would expect from basically any modern charge character to have some way of drawing charge discs, right? Because basically every single charge character we've seen so far has some way to actually force their charge discs. Yeah, she has that as her personal. Her personal is Monopolized Draw, which draws all of her discs at once. So you pop this and boom, you get all 5 of her discs at once, which of course means you can get a charge puller combo. Nice. So already her personal is what you would expect from this kind of character. But of course, because she's an attacker, she has a crap ton of attack, but her defense and HP is not that amazing. But we're here to deal some damage, I guess. If you look at her connect, it does attack up, charge this damage up, anti-evade, kind of not that great, kind of pointless, kind of whatever. However, what is her Magi like? Because maybe the Magi is gonna be really good. Damage one enemy, charge this damage up to self, charge attack damage up to self, defense pierce, chance to self. Wow, this is actually kind of terrible. Maybe the doppel is gonna be it. Damage up to self. Charge attack damage up to self. Chance to defense pierce to self. Still just a chance. Why did I make it 100%? But hey, at least charge conservation on a character who only has 2 discs that are on charge. So I don't know how she's going to use that very often. This looks bad. This actually just looks bad. Because the thing about... Here's the thing why this is bad. She has 3 charge discs. Usually, if you have a charge strategy, you have characters that build up charge discs, and then you have characters that use those charge discs. And usually when you use those charge discs, you throw charge conservation into the mix to make sure that you keep those charge discs, right? And characters that have 3 charge discs, for the most part, are all just characters that build up charge discs, and then you have other characters that spend those. And those probably don't have 3 charges. They have like System Momoko. System Momoko has 2 blasters, so that you can make use of those discs. You have Marukami Senpai, right? Really good at making use of those Excel discs that she has. So yeah, that's how you do that. But here we have a character that seems to want to build charge and then at the same time also spend them herself. But she's not going to be able to spend them very much because she only has 1 Excel disc, 1 blast disc to give herself buffs that aren't even that great. Like, these buffs aren't even that good. They're fine, but still not that amazing. So I still don't quite get what the point of all of this is. I still don't quite get what the point of all of this entire set right here is. What's she supposed to do? Is she a charge builder? Is she a charge spender? Is she something in between? Is she someone who deals damage with charge discs themselves? Apparently, I don't know. Let's look at her spirit enhancement to get maybe more of a sense of what she does. She has 50% evade chance, critical hit, awesome. Charge this damage up, charge this damage up, charge this damage up, and charge this damage up. Awesome. Here's the fun part. A lot of other characters that have this effect just have way fewer of these with way bigger numbers. So she has like 1, 2, 3, 5%, and then an extra 10%. It's spread across 4 different effects. Let me just look at this list, right? Right here in Spirit Enhancement. Even Akumi Homoda has like 10% on 2. Okay, but doesn't Momoko have a lot? Oh my god, look at how many characters actually have this effect. I did not know this many characters had this. Oh my god. Give me Momoko, because I think Momoko had a lot. So Sister Momoko has way more than that in 3 instead of 4, cool. And regular Momoko has a single one that just gives 20%. Even Mummy just has a single one that gives 15%. Like, look, this is one node for 15%. I kind of like Mummy, who doesn't even charge that much. And here we have 3 for a total of 15%. This is just wasting space. We're just wasting so much space here, what? Just give better effects instead of wasting so much space. This could have just been a single node that just gives 15%. Better yet, put it into this node, a single node that gives 25% at once. And then 50% charge attack damage up. Okay, we've just saved 3 different effects that we can use to have better cool stuff. I don't know. What else do we have? Anti-evade, cool. Charge gun up +3. +3 is fine. It used to be the best. +3 used to be the best, but Tanahashi has +4. Well, that's pretty cool. Aqua attack up 7.5. Such low numbers though. Such low numbers. I mean, this is still a cool effect. It's still a good effect to have. This is one of her better nodes. But still just a low number, 7.5%. They really didn't want to commit with this character at all. However, then we have charge attack up to all allies. That's actually something that's quite alright. This is totally something that's pretty cool. And then we actually get to her best effect. 5%. Only 5% of charge attack received damage up, which is such a weird name. Couldn't they give this any better name? And I mean, it sounds just as bad in like the actual Japanese text. Here's why this is important, and something that I didn't know when an effect like this was first shown, or something like dark defense down, something like that. At first, I thought this was just a sort of damage up in disguise. This is just a damage up that works just the same as if you had like 5% charge up. That's also the way I first talked about this when I've talked about dark defense down, for example, because we just thought at that point in time that that's how that worked. If the enemy has 15% dark defense down, that just means that if you attack them with dark attack, they act as if they had 15% less defense. That's not how it works. That was a lie. I rectified that at some later point. But this is the same with charge attack to receive damage up. This is this and like elemental defense down are actually their own new category of effects. I say new since last year with Mikage or whatever. This new category of effect is multiplicative with the rest. So you could be capped on attack up, you can be capped on damage up, and you will still deal 5% more damage with this effect if you're using charged attacks, like Charge Blast, for example. Now, how often do you actually get capped on damage up, which is 200% total across many different kinds of damage ups? How often do you actually get there? Well, if you're not a whale, not that often. If you're not a whale, you probably might never actually hit the 200% damage cap. You might never even get there. So this effect being 5% on top of that kind of seems useless because you're not even getting to the cap anyway. But for whales who will get to this damage cap when they are doing Kimochi, is actually really good. So here's the thing. So far this entire unit looks kind of terrible. I mean, okay, maybe not completely terrible, but worse than most other comparable units. Like Sai is better than this. Mitsune is better than this, Sister Momoko is better than this, Tanahashi is better than this. All of these are like noticeably better than this. But compared to like some old, really old characters, like maybe Momoko, maybe she's a little bit better than Momoko, but only a little bit, stuff like that. But despite all of that, she might still have a mainstay in one of the Kimochi teams. I think it's Aquamarine, the one that is the Charge Blast Kimochi, which I think is the Forest type. And you use her against that, which sounds weird at first, but I think you just do it because the Forest type one, I think, is the Charge Blast Kimochi. And with the Charge Blast Kimochi, you want to have as much charge attack damage received damage up, so you just use this one. What Whales will do, Whales will get her at 1 slot and leave her at level 1. They will really have her 1 slot level 1 and put her in the field just to use this and then immediately die. So she doesn't get any more discs. They don't want her to get discs. And by doing this, they can get 5% more damage in 3 turns. Isn't that cool? Like, whales get to do this, to do 5% more damage. Awesome. And I know I said whales, even though I just said to you that this is a 1 slot that they're doing this with. Probably even 2 slots, just for 2 actives. But the reason I still say it's a whale strategy, because this strategy only makes sense if you're already gonna cap on damage ups, which is what whales get to. Like, whales will actually cap on damage up. But if you're not a whale and you don't get to capping on damage up, you don't need to do this strat, because you're already not even gonna get that much out of this. So, to put it all together, by herself, she's actually not that terrible, I guess, because she actually has a lot of attack. She actually has, in total, a decent amount of charges damage, even though it's spread over so many nodes. She can crit, which is cool. She has Aqua Attribute Attack Up just baked into her. And I guess if you do get a Magio or a Doppel Up, the buffs you get, while not the best, they're still decently high number buffs, like 60% charges damage up. That's a decently high number at least. And I mean, like, come on, charge conservation, that's cool. Defense pierce, that's cool. Even though it's just a chance. So by herself, she's not that terrible, but she's not great either because she doesn't really do much more than that. Her connect isn't that amazing, so the fact that you can roll into it immediately, where is it, with her personal, is also not that special. But at least for whales, she has this right here to bait whales. So overall, if you already have Sai, if you have Mitsune, if you have a Marukami Senpai, if you have Tanabata Yachi, any of those characters or similar characters, you probably don't need Miyuri at all. And if you really want to go hard on judge strategies, there's probably going to be better characters soon because they're probably not going to release a worse judge character than this. But this is, of course, one thing that, like I said, maybe I should say in more videos. If you like Miyuri as a character, because maybe you also have a raging leg fetish and you just like a character that also has a raging leg fetish and is a super hard sub. She's a masochist, rather, and a submissive. And if you're into all of that and you're like, I want a character who's like that, yeah, sure, roll for it. I'm going to tell you that right now, do it. Sure. However, that's not what the story ends, because usually I then go on about all of the different Memoria in here, and I'll say like, oh man, these Memorias are usually not that great, and the 3-star Memoria is terrible, it's not that great, like, who cares, whatever. But then we get to this. Now, this Memoria is on a very similar level on what I've just said as Miyuri herself, in that whales actually whaled the shit out of this gacha for this Memoria. Why would they do that? Because it has chance to evade, which seems absolutely 100% pointless for whales. Well, it is. Chance to evade is actually 100% useless in any situation for whales. But it gives 35% damage increase, which is 5% more than Past and Future. And it's 5% more than Under White Camellia. Which, by the way, was a free event Memoria if you played this event, which I did, so I haven't. And these have been the top Memoria for 3-turn damage increase. And 3-turn damage increase is pretty important, because if you want to burst really hard across multiple turns, you want to have something that gives you a lot of value over multiple turns. And people just use this or that for the same sort of effect. But this one gives 5% more. So kind of like Miyuri, if you're not a whale, you probably won't give a shit that this gives like 5% more, especially because you have to give up the defensive damage cut for this. And if you're not a whale, you might even want the damage cut to stay alive for a little bit longer, because if you're not a whale, maybe there might actually be some content in the game that could potentially hurt some of your characters, maybe. So this might actually be interesting. So if you really wanted to give up this damage cut for 5% more damage, yeah, you're gonna have this Memoria, but it's also unlimited. So you're gonna roll for this at some point anyway, and even if it's not maximum break, if you just have one copy of this, it already gives 30%, which is as much as Past and Future X max limit break. So if you're a whale, go ahead and get this just for the 5% more damage. If you're not a whale, come on, do you really need this? Don't do it. Just don't do it, okay? That was that. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.